Hi, this is High Templar with my new Total War Warhammer DLC speculation video, and I wanted to talk again about Wood Elf Army because I thought I have some new ideas about it, and I wanted to make things more detailed. That won't take long. I realized that, for example, the Glade Guards don't necessarily have to go in 90. They could go in 80, so that would be 60 in multiplayer, because that unit, this is your basic elf unit, but they are stronger than your normal archers. They should be. They are also not as bad in melee as, say, Bretonnian peasants, obviously. They can handle themselves in melee. The only weak point is armor and hit points. I would envision this unit as around less than 5,000 hit points in large, not in multiplayer. In multiplayer, that would be obviously a quarter less, and having probably 15 armor, and also be decent bowmen compared to Bretonnian peasants, but either bigger range or bigger missile damage. It's better reload skill possibly, because they should be, I'm not sure if they will be, but they should be better. So we will have either 90 or 80 of them, and the cost will be probably around 450 more if they have access to special arrows, which I've mentioned before can be implemented the same way as fire arrows in previous Total War series, but I'm not sure if they would. But I would see them as around 450. And the same goes for Eternal Guard. Those guys, if they don't have armor piercing, they might go in 120 or 100 men, and they should have, although 15 armor probably, actually no, actually those guys have more armor, so we are talking maybe 30 armor, maybe 50, probably 30 armor, and some decent shields and spears. If they don't come in armor piercing, I would say 400, around 400 for 100, 450 for 120 men. If they do come in armor piercing, this changes a lot, and they will probably come in 550 or more. This is due to the fact that they should be similar to halberdiers and men at arms, basically. So next one is Deepwood Scouts. Those guys are not as much more effective in tabletop Warhammer, but due to the sense of progression, they would have to be more effective in the Total War series. So they would have to be basically have something better, and I would say they would be a stalking ability. I probably mentioned that before, and they would probably cost like 100 or 200 more even, depending on how much better they are, how much more damage they do. Or maybe they do have some special abilities. And those guys will probably come in 100 or 80 units even. Although they might go in 120, it's really hard to say how they will be implemented. However, their costs I can predict will be around 600. I can predict that cost because every more powerful unit, no matter how many men are inside, is progressively more expensive. So Wildwood Rangers would probably get around 600, 700 gold, mostly because of great weapons, and will have, depending on the skill, 80, 100 men probably. The Trikin is absolutely, I cannot tell you anything about them because it will be hard to see how good they really are. In tabletop there are more expensive than say the Riots, so I would put them also around maybe 700, 900 men, I mean gold, around 7, 800. And depending on, I already mentioned that the models are bit larger than your normal unit on the horse. So, but so are the goods. For example, the goods are not as large, but also larger, and there are full 120 of them. Although those guys are more tanky, so it will be probably less than 120. But it's hard to say. It can be anyone from 24, which is unlikely, to 120, depending on the stats. And those guys, the 3 men would obviously be well over 1000, and there will be only a single one of them. It's hard to say about those guys really. Those the war dancers would probably come in pack of 100 or less, and they would probably cost around 1000, maybe less than 1000. In tabletop they are not as expensive, but they are glass cannon, so you know what you are paying for. However, this is the similar situation as Slayers. The Slayers are very good against monsters. Those guys are good in general, but you know, if under arrow fire they will die very quickly. So it's hard to say, but probably around 1000, probably around 80 to 100 men in unit. The Dryads would be probably a full unit, 120 or 100, depending on how big the standard unit is in Wood Elf Army. For humans it's 120, for dwarves is 100, so you know there are those differences. And they will probably be quite cheap, 500 probably, around 500. It's hard to say, depends on the stats. Those guys will be your normal around 6, 700 depending. I would say this will be a normal cav unit size, so 60, and that would make them costing about 650, 700. And the Sisters of the Thorn respectively more. If they do have all those abilities, I would expect them to be around 900 to 1000. That would be very effective. And those elite guys, probably at least 1200, maybe even 1600, 1600 basically, depending on the stats. I would go around 1500 if I would have to guess for those guys. This unit, depending on the size, really, it's hard to say, hard to guess. I wouldn't even attempt to guess. Yeah, and that's for the units. For the Eagles, that would also depend. I wouldn't see Eagle as a single unit. I would see them in 12, so that would put them around 1000, but this is again a rough estimate. So yeah, and like I said, the Forest Dragon probably won't be there. If it will be there, it will be around 2000, maybe more. It will be single model. So this is basically it. I hope you like it. I hope it will come true. I hope it will be as accurate. Uh, I will be as accurate as I think I am, and it will be exactly those numbers. But I cannot guarantee that. So this is it. I hope you like it. If you did, press like. If you have a comment, please leave a comment. And I also would like to recommend my other videos in Total War Warhammer, but also different games. Thank you for watching and see you later.